So for the angle between two vectors, I'll be using the formula cosine of the angle between them is equal to the dot product of the two vectors divided by the length of each vector multiplied. So I have cosine of 40 degrees equals, and then for the dot product it's going to be multiplying the two x components, so -6 and x, multiply the two y's, which is going to be a 30, and add those together. And then for the length of u, square each of its components, a 36 and a 25, add those together and put that in a square root, a 36 and a 25. And then for the length of this one, square each one, an x squared and a 36. And now we've got some algebra to do. So there is the cosine of 40.766 there is the square root of 61, and then the square root of x squared plus 36. And now we should clear the fraction by taking all of this stuff and multiplying it onto the left side, so we'd have a 0.766 times the square root of 61 times the square root of x squared plus 36. And now in order to get to this x in here, we're going to need to square both sides to eliminate the radicals. So square both sides. So this is going to need to be squared. 0.766 needs to be squared. This will become just a 61, so times 61. And then that number is going to be sitting in front of x squared plus 36. And then I need to multiply this side, so there's going to be a 36x squared. There's going to be a 900, and then multiply these two and double it, which is going to be a 180 doubled is 360, so minus 360x. Okay, then over here I need to distribute 35.792x squared plus a 36 times 35.792. So 1288.512. And now we're going to need to use the quadratic formula, but first take these two and subtract from both sides. So for this, it's going to be 36x squared minus 35.792x squared equals a 0.208x squared minus 360x, and then a 900 subtract 1288.512 minus 388.512. And now it's set equal to 0. Next up, the quadratic formula. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4 times the a, and then times C. 388.512. And then the whole thing is divided by 2 times A. And I might as well type this all in at once. 360 plus the square root of a 360 squared, don't need the negative because it's going to be squared, minus 4 times 0.208 times a negative 388.512. Close the radical and divide that by parentheses 2 times 0.208. So x is equal to 1226.463, which seems fairly large. I think it's because I did not put a parenthesis at the beginning. Insert a parenthesis there. Insert a parenthesis. Well, it's even larger. X is equal to 1731.848. And then do the same thing with subtracting. And x is equal to negative 1.079, which sounds a lot more reasonable. So let's take a look at the graph real quick. So this one is saying go to negative 6 and 5. And then with these two being almost the same, that means that these two angles are about 45 degrees. And so if we want it to be 40 degrees, so a little bit smaller would be something, and then up to 6. So that would be something like this. And then x equals negative 1.079 would sound about right. 1.079. The other one of x being way out here would then give me a big angle. That's not right. So when you square both sides of an equation, that can then introduce extra answers that aren't really a part of what we want. So those extra answers need to be thrown away. And then x equals negative 1.079.